fifth episode of the Dynasty Owners Champions podcast. I am your host, Jeff Racklin, reigning 2021 Chase for the Ring champion. I am joined by my associates and my fellow champions, Victor Kilgore and Eddie Driscoll, our 2019 and 2020 champions. Guys, how are you feeling
What's
tonight?
up? Feeling great, man.
Rings. There we go. Who's gonna be number 4?
Gotta get
Who's
this
it
thing
gonna
clean.
be?
Gotta get this thing cleaned.
We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about number 4 coming up. But first thing that we really want to do here on tonight's podcast, we got to talk about last night's game.
Oh, yeah.
Rams at home getting slaughtered by the Buffalo Bills. So, guys, give me your impressions of just the game in general. Any takeaways, just either from a fantasy or real life aspect, like opening night. What did you guys see? Who wants to start it off?
Right here. First of all, who saw that coming? I mean, 2.5 point spread, Super Bowl champions. I mean, Buffalo is almost there. Should be pretty evenly matched. Even though a lot of the experts were talking about a high-scoring affair, I was thinking Bills got a great defense, and so do the Rams. I was kind of secretively thinking, under, and that's where it ended up. But I did not see this coming whatsoever. I know Buffalo's coming with a purpose this year, and I'm happy to see it. It's everybody loves to watch open offenses. Let's face it. Nobody wants to see a 10-3 final in any game. That's not fun, But who could have predicted how poorly these Rams would have looked? That offensive line is in shambles, This Cam Akers teased everybody last year by coming back from his injury early, only to put up a donut in week 1. Congratulations, Darrell Henderson drafters. You're in. That's how you win a league.
Yeah.
That's how you win a ring. That's how you win one of these, by taking Henderson late when people are taking Akers in the 5th. I mean, proof is in the pudding right there. And somebody put out a missing person report on Allen Robinson, please, because I don't know where the guy is. Even McVay in the post-game interview was saying we got to get this guy more involved, and that's not even being prompted by a reporter.
Yeah,
come on, what are these Rams doing? I took him in my team pool. Jesus.
Yeah, 2 targets, 1 reception, 12 yards. That's really harsh. But Tyler Higbee, if you're a Tyler Higbee owner, you're feeling pretty lucky, or you got 11 targets, and I mean I take that because you drafted him in late round.
I just don't think. I don't know. Got to catch him.
Yeah, if you're all about the late round tight end and streaming and stuff like that, I'll take that. But yeah, there is nothing to say other than if you have a bunch of players playing against the Bills defense, just look to the best player, man.
I got a few takes on this one. Number 1, my 0 running back strategy in my last Dynasty owner draft is looking really, really nice right now because Darrell Henderson was one of my late round picks. 15 Dynasty owner teams. I have 0 Cam Akers shares and only 1 Allen Robinson share, and he was on my bench in that league. So I am ecstatic after last night. But from a real life perspective, I actually did see this coming, Eddie, and I'm going to tell you why. I didn't. Okay, so I will admit I did not see a 21-point blowout coming, but I definitely saw the Bills covering 2.5, and I definitely saw that game being decided between 10 or more points. Here's why. First of all, you lose Matthew Stafford's blindside protection, Andrew Whitworth, who's a very good, even at age 40, a very, very good left tackle. So he's gone. You're now moving your right tackle to the left side, and you have to remember the Rams do not play any starters in the preseason ever. So this guy who just moved from right tackle to left tackle had 0 game reps, 0 practice reps going into that game, playing Von Miller and first-round picks Ed Oliver and Gregory Rousseau. How do you not have game reps for a brand new left tackle that has never played the position before, replacing arguably a Hall of Fame left tackle in Andrew Whitworth, And then, okay, add to it their defensive side of the ball. You lose Von Miller. You lose Sebastian Joseph Day. You lose Eric Weddle in the backfield. You lose your starting opposite corner to Ramsey, Darius Williams to free agency. They had a lot of losses. Let's not even take into consideration Van Jefferson and Odell Beckham away, and you're replacing them with whatever the hell a Tutu Atwell is. And Ben Skoranek.
A Pokemon, man.
You're replacing Odell Beckham with Ben Skoranek. Say that to yourself out loud and just try not to laugh. So, they made it easy on the Bills' defense last night because you had a brand new left tackle. They were just loading up pressure on that side. And I read a stat today through Pro Football Focus. Joseph Noteboom, who was the brand new left tackle for the Rams, gave up as many pressures last night as Andrew Whitworth did in the entire 2021 NFL season.
Ooh, that hurts. That hurts.
Hey.
That hurts.
Now I don't want to also overreact to 1 week. They played a juggernaut team.
Week 1.
Yeah.
They have 10 days now to rest up, and they get the Atlanta Falcons at home week 2. So the opportunity is there to bounce back.
Yep.
And boy, do I feel bad for the Tennessee Titans because they have to go to Buffalo, New York next week on national television on Monday Night Football for the Bills home opener. Bills have 11 days to prepare of how to beat the shit out of the Tennessee Titans next week.
At least they'll be 1-0 after beating the Giants.
They're going to be 1-1 because Buffalo is not losing that game, in my opinion.
Hey, didn't they lose to Buffalo last year?
Can you look on a schedule right now down the road and tell me which game Buffalo might lose?
Middle of the season last year, Tennessee did play Buffalo last year, but it was mid-season. It was in Tennessee. A.J. Brown was on the team. You have a whole different Tennessee Titan game plan now. Your number one receiver is not A.J. Brown. It's a 32-year-old receiver off an ACL injury. But
so they got the Titans, which you're saying is going to win. They got the Dolphins, which you're saying,
that could be tough. Division game.
No.
Yeah, we'll see because I don't know how the Dolphins are going to. I'm a Dolphins fan, and I don't know how they're going to do. They got the Ravens, which I don't know anything about their defense. They got the Steelers.
They'll beat them.
Chiefs. Chiefs is going to be a tough one.
Shootout.
Let's see how they do without Hill. They got the Packers, which again I think will be.
Shootout.
Oh, you think so? They revamped that defense.
The only thing that I'm getting from you saying this is that any dynasty owner team that currently has Josh Allen on its roster isn't looking very good right now.
Yeah,
that's the only thing I'm getting from all of this.
But here's the thing: look at the stretch. They have They got the Dolphins, the Bears, and the Bengals.
You bring up a good point. Most people wait in every other platform on quarterback. They wait late. They let those other people take Allen, at the top 3, and they feel like it's going to set them back at other positions. And most years, that's correct. This is a totally different platform. If you don't get those top guys, you're going to be set back. Let me tell you something right now. I have Josh Allen in 0 leagues. And as I'm watching that game last night, I'm like, I'm an idiot. Who did I pass on instead of Josh Allen? Who did I take in the 3rd or whatever? And in most leagues, in our league, probably first round, you got to get him. But
then you also have to figure out that and we talked about this last week, when Burrow and Herbert get paid, and maybe even Jalen Hurts gets paid in a year or 2,
he's going to be a bargain.
Josh Allen's $43 million is going to be a bargain. You're going to be like,
wow.
You're going to have literally 5 years left of Josh Allen's contract at that time at $43 million. And then you're going to have Burrow and Herbert making maybe even 55. You're going to have a $12 million discount on Josh Allen. So if he's not on your team right now, good luck getting him. Because anyone that's watching this podcast or that is a diehard dynasty owner player, like the 3 of us basically, I have Josh Allen on several of my 15 teams. I think I have him on 8 or 9. I'm not trading him. There's no way. The only trade that I would even consider for Josh Allen at this point would be involving Mahomes plus.
Hey.
Like that's it, because the salaries match up, the ages match up, they're both locked into their contracts. But I would want more because Allen has Diggs and Crowder and Knox and Gabe Davis. Like they're loaded. They are loaded, and they're loaded for a long time. Like they just locked up Diggs, they just locked up Dawson Knox. McKenzie's on the team for 2 more years. You got Crowder this year. You got Gabe Davis on his rookie deal for 2 more years. Like this team is going to be a juggernaut. And there were questions coming into the game of like, oh, they lost Brian Daboll. They're replacing him offensive coordinator wise with Ken Dorsey. Ken Dorsey learned the offensive coordinator position under Brian Daboll for 3 years. It's the same offense. They're not changing the offense when basically the understudy just takes over for the mentor. That's not how it works. You know, they're coming from the same school of thought. And like
the loss of Daboll was irrelevant.
Can we also just like, first of all, I got 2 more of that. I'm going off the rails tonight, guys. Here's number one. Number one.
Right. Yep.
How many teams in the NFL win a football game having 4 turnovers on the road?
What, the Bengals one time?
If you turn the ball over 4 times on the road, I guarantee you're losing 99% of the time. Like, and the Bills won by 3 touchdowns. It wasn't like a 3-point win. They blew them out. They could have scored 50 points last night. Like, if they didn't turn the ball over, they were dropping a 50 piece on the Rams.
Easy. On
ring night in their house. Like, wow, guys, the team is just a juggernaut. So
a lot of fun to watch.
What's that, Eddie?
A lot of fun to watch. I'm glad finally, as long as I'm alive, there's a team in New York that actually could win a football game.
Well, you guys also, anyone who's watching this has to realize Josh Allen didn't play his best. Like that, he had, I think it was 280 or 290 passing, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 40, 50 yards rushing.
I like to know what he's doing out there with a 21-point lead running the ball.
I know what he's doing. He's getting us fantasy points. That's what he's doing.
Come on, dude. But you don't want to lose him in a situation like that.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
There were a couple runs where I was like, oh, my God.
Yeah. He's like over 240 pounds. He could take a hit or 2.
But here's the thing. Like, there are going to be – so that was a 38-point game. He scored, I think, 38 or 39 Dynasty owner points last night if you had him in your starting lineup. That was a good game for Josh Allen. You know there's going to be blow-up games where he's going to drop a 50, 60 piece in your starting lineup. And that's the other great thing about having him on your team. You're never going to bench him. Never going to bench him. Like, he is locked and loaded. Your starting lineup quarterback. I don't care if you have Russ. I don't care if you have Kyler. I don't care if you have Burrow. Josh Allen is in your starting lineup every single week.
I might start him on his bye week. He might be playing 2-hand touch in the schoolyard. I'll take those points too.
In my rebuilding league, I think I will start him on his bye week, just so I can.
I'm old enough to remember the Bills going to the Super Bowl like 4 straight years and losing. So this ain't your grandfather's Bills team, buddy. This team's coming to win.
No, I completely agree with you guys. They're a juggernaut, and 14-3, 15-2. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility for Buffalo this year.
No doubt.
Yeah. Hey, but keep in mind all the Rams fans who have all those players, Stafford, Akers, Robinson. I mean, they've got the Falcons next week. So
yeah, listen.
Look forward to that. They're going to get their revenge.
So right. I second that. It's week 1. You can't overreact. You know, it's the team was in the Super Bowl last year. You know, they didn't get it right on week 1. And now, like you said, bounce back candidate opponent next week. And I have a feeling you're going to see what Atlanta is made of this week when the Saints blow the pants off them.
I'm not really too concerned with Allen Robinson, because we saw this last year with Robert Woods. He had like 4 straight games of underperforming, and then he had that monster game against Seattle where he had like 12 for 200 because he went like out in the media and complained. But
Jeff, your mouth to God's ears, because I've had this guy for years and years, and my excuse for him was he never really had a quarterback. Now he's got a quarterback. There's no more excuses. Either he's it, and he's the guy we've always been waiting to see explode, or he's a bust and the career's over. I'm really hoping what you're saying is the real truth to it, because I think this guy deserves, some some life in that system for him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the guy that I'd be worried about right now is Cam Akers, because if you have him on your roster, either in redraft or dynasty owner, you likely spent a second or third round pick on him. And Darrell Henderson, just from the eye test, looked more explosive. He looked like their clear passing down back, which is what you want from one of your running backs. And in dynasty owner, he's only $1 million. So, like, Darrell Henderson is a guy, if I have him in dynasty owner right now, I'm actually looking to sell high on him.
Yeah.
His value is sky high right now. And if you can dangle him like a carrot in front of a Cam Akers owner, honestly, I'm not even joking here. A Cam Akers owner right now, not you, Victor, but maybe a different Cam Akers owner, I would not be shocked if they were willing to part with a 2023 first round pick for Darrell Henderson, just so they can lock up that backfield and not take a complete loss on their Cam Akers investment, which was a second or third round pick in dynasty owner startup drafts. Easily Cam Akers was going.
But the other side of that coin is getting Henderson at that value so late in your draft and actually capitalizing on it if he's the starter there all year.
Yeah, I mean, so
another way to look at it.
But you got away, like if you're a rebuilding team with Darrell Henderson and you can flip
Depends on
him
what you are.
for a 2023 first,
right
I would
now.
do it. But if you're competitive, you're loving. I went zero running back for one of my startup drafts a couple weeks ago, and Henderson was one of my picks, and I'm loving it right now because my team is loaded at quarterback and receiver and tight end, and now I might have a running back to emerge to match up with those other pieces. So we'll see how it plays out. It's week one. We don't want to overreact or underreact to anything. But yeah, the other thing I want to talk about real quick is Matthew Stafford and dynasty owner. He's $27 million this year. And that's the huge difference between a quarterback like Josh Allen and Matthew Stafford. You're paying $27 million for Matthew Stafford, and he's likely rostered in at least 90% of all dynasty owner leagues. But he's going to have those weeks where he gets you 30, but he's also going to have those weeks like last night where he gets you 9. And if you're getting 9 points out of a guy that you're paying $27 million for, you're in big trouble for that week, because the rest of your roster is not able. You don't have enough money to fill out the rest of your roster to compensate for that 9-point loss out of your starting quarterback. So, lock up those quarterbacks, and we're going to get to a trade scenario that I pulled off last night, guys. I'm gonna wait on this one because I want to shock everyone here. And we're going to get to a trade that I pulled off last night in this discussion in this realm. But what we want to talk about now is the dynasty owner exclusive chase for the ring standings that are now updated live after one game of 1 week. We are going to now, just as I said, we don't want to overreact or underreact. Well, we're going to go overreacting right now. So
I thought I was the king of the segues here.
It's safe to say there's going to be a few teams that don't make the ring.
If you had 2 or 3 Bills on your team last night, guess what? You're in the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, so let's look at the number 1 team real quick.
Like somebody in his room right now.
Well, we won't name any names there, but so the number 1 team in Chase for the Ring right now.
Don't be modest.
The Below Zero Bills. So their entire starting lineup is Buffalo Bills minus Travis Kelce. Now,
let me look at this.
Congrats. You're first in Chase for the Ring after 1 game. Take a screenshot. But the issue is that is not sustainable whatsoever, because if the Bills have 1 bad week, you lose. If the Bills have an average week, you lose. If the Bills have a solid week, you lose. The Bills need to drop at least like 30 to 40 points in their head-to-head real-life matchup for that team to even have a chance to win their head-to-head matchup, let alone remain in that top 25 chase for the ring area. So
Yeah.
as
It's quite
cool
amazing.
as
He's
it
actually
is,
favored to win.
yeah, he's favored to win right now. But I got to say, just as cool as it is to look after one game and see your name, top of the chase for the ring standings, you got to also look at the team that they have. The team that I have right now that's in 10th place in chase for the ring, that's not even one of my 5 best teams in my opinion. So
Yeah.
I don't expect that team to even be in the top 25 by the end of week 1. But we'll see. The other team I want to talk about is Rudy, Dynasty Trade School, a team and an owner that has finished in the top 3 of Chase for the Ring 2 consecutive years, and now currently has 2 teams in the top 12 of the Chase for the Ring standings. I don't know how many teams this guy has, but he is a definite threat to take down the Chase for the Ring. Simply just because I talk with him. I'm in I think 2 leagues with him actually. I talk with him on Twitter sometimes. He's a very knowledgeable guy. And you know what? He pays his dues just like we do, guys. And that's what it's all about. If you're the dedicated owner, you're playing the waiver wire, you're making trades, you're keeping up with all your teams, that will pay off either in a league title or the ultimate prize, joining us in 2023 as the 4th square. Anything you guys want to talk about for the Chase of the Ring besides those 2 teams? Anything that stands out to you guys?
Well, I mean, go ahead and check them all out. See what you're going to be going up against all season long. Looking up at Dynasty Trade School, man, this guy's team is stacked. I had a similar team in one of my leagues where I had Chubb and Cook. So this guy has Allen, Chubb, Cook, Diggs, Cup, Waller, Bateman, and McPherson. I mean, that's a pretty solid roster.
That is pretty formidable.
Yeah, I traded, but this is Dynasty, so that's why it's this team is going to be great, and he's all in chips because when you look at his bench players, he got Mills, Walker, and Cook. Okay, he's looking towards the future. Then Mooney, Pickens, Likely, and Carlson. So he's really betting heavy on some of these
very top
really
heavy
young players. Yeah, for these young players to show out for him. So it's going to be interesting later on when bye weeks start to hit, who he's starting and see where he ends up on it. So, I mean, he could, when I won the ring back in 2020, I literally only had one quarterback because I had Mahomes, Trubisky, and Gardner Minshew. And we all know what happened with Gardner Minshew. Got hurt his thumb or something a few weeks in, and then Trubisky got benched midway through the season for Foles. And I was scrambling to get any quarterback. And I think at the time I was trying to get the Steelers backup, Mason Rudolph, and Duck Hodgson or something like that. And these guys, none of them would trade me. They're like, no, I need at least a 1st-round pick because he's a starting QB. I'm like, I'm not going to give you a 1st-round pick for a backup QB that probably will never see any playing time after this season. And look at where we are now. Didn't trade for him, and none of those QBs are worth anything now.
I gotta say, here's the other thing. It is a marathon, not a sprint. We all know that. The 3 of us know that very well. But there is something to be said for a very fast start. If you can have a 180 to 220 point week 1, and have that 50 to 60 point gap, I don't think it's going to be that gap. But if, hypothetically, you could have a 50, 60 point cushion after week 1, you're feeling good. Because here's the other thing. A lot of teams behind, let's take Dynasty Trade School, for example, Chubb, Dalvin Cook, Josh Allen. A lot of teams behind them have the same players.
Yeah. Can't make up any ground.
Those stud players can't make up ground for you. You need to have the difference makers. And it's do I go out and trade draft picks to get different players? That's what I did last year with my Chase for the Ring team. I was competing with 2 other teams, and I noticed that, all right, they both have Devontae Adams. They both have Travis Kelce. They both have Tyreek Hill. I got to get different guys that I think are going to emerge that are better than their different guys. And thankfully, I just hit the trigger correctly, and it paid off. So
yeah,
just something to think about.
you got to think that a lot of teams are going to be similar in players.
Absolutely.
And shout out to my boy Davey Sin, his first year in the format, and he was in like team 11, as high as team 6 or 7. And the guy in first place, which obviously was one of you two dudes, had the same players as him. And he was like, well, what am I going to do? It's a wrap. Like, I can't catch them no matter what I do. Accolades. But
Yeah.
it's
I also want to give a quick shout out to my friend Dennis, who it's his first year ever playing Dynasty Owner on the format, and his team is currently ranked number 21 after one game for the Chase of the Ring standings, and his team name is Take Jeff's Ring, which I'm completely against.
That's great.
That's so good.
But like, come on. His profile picture is a picture we took together at the expo, so I wish him the best of luck because he's going to need it because I'm not taking any prisoners this year. I'm trying to get like that Brady GIF where he's got all the rings filled out. So that's what I'm all in. I'm all in, guys. I'm admitting that right now. So
yeah, it's so tough. Like looking at all these different teams to, looking at his team too. You got like Hines, which is like really hyped up right now to do well, and you got Damian Pierce as your starting running back, who is the unofficial starter for the Houston Texans. Yeah. So I'm excited for this year, man.
I also just want to remind you guys that the winner of the Justin Jefferson jersey giveaway will be announced this upcoming Wednesday at 4 p.m. on the Dynasty Owner live stream this Wednesday at 4 p.m. Justin Jefferson giveaway. I put in nine entries for myself, so I'm hoping to get a spot in that wall behind me, just like Eddie's got his vintage AJ Green going right now.
It's going right there.
Right there.
Victor's got a spot for it. Yeah, I got a spot
right
for
above
it
my
here.
left shoulder.
Actually,
right here.
You got to put something on that wall, Vic.
Yeah. Eventually.
So, guys, did you switch into the next topic of any completed Dynasty Owner startup drafts or any recent trades that you guys made that we can kind of dive into here? I know I got one myself, but I want to give you guys the floor first. Any startups you guys did or any trades you guys have made recently?
I haven't done anything.
Go first?
Yeah, I haven't done anything recently, but because I got a lot of teams, it's hard to, I don't like to go too much. I want to concentrate and I want to win the ones that I'm in. But that said, a friend of mine I brought in, a referral code that we have for our friends and family, and he joined, and he's a bit of a procrastinator. So his draft is tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., even though the season started last night. But I did the right thing because I had another nice promo code draft that saved me $20 on an entry. I'm looking for $9. Why not? So I joined them, and I was the league filled out tonight. So all 12 of us are in now and ready. I'll be doing it at my desk tomorrow while I'm working. But I'm looking forward to it. One last trip down the mulberry patch with some familiar ground from years past. There's nothing like a startup, guys. I don't know. I've been playing Dynasty for years, but there is nothing like a startup Dynasty league. It's like Christmas morning, man. You players that all your other teams you wish you had. Now you got a chance to have them. You might be going out of value, but hey, you get the players you want. You're going to enjoy it now. Go out and get Josh Allen tomorrow. If I'm lucky enough to be drafted in the top 6, guess who I'm going to pick? Josh Allen.
I
don't care what he costs.
Go round 2, Stephon Diggs, man.
I actually have
nice stack.
I want you to watch out for something tomorrow, Eddie, and I want you to keep track of this for maybe next week's show.
What's that?
If I was in that league with you, and I had the number 1 pick, I would take Josh Allen for 2 reasons. For 2 reasons. Number 1, he's Josh Allen. Number 2, you're getting his score from last night applied to your week 1 head-to-head matchup. So you are already up 38-0 on whoever you're playing.
Be careful about that. I remind you of that league I drafted in Vegas that year where drafting during the Thursday night game, and the guy had 3 touchdowns, running back for the Chiefs, and he didn't do nothing the rest of the season.
Was his name Josh Allen? Because I think
No,
Josh Allen might be a better runner than whoever that was. But guys, like that's a strategy. Like if you have a dynasty owner draft, if you're in a draft this upcoming weekend, either tomorrow, I think there's even one on Sunday morning at 9 a.m.
There is.
You know, Diggs and Kupp and Josh Allen, they all have a little bit increased value now because those points are going to be applied for your week 1 head-to-head matchup.
Retro.
So, exactly. Yeah. So if you know, like if Cooper Kupp is sitting there at the end of round 1 and you're debating between him and let's say, I don't know, DeAndre Swift, like just because he's my boy, is the first name that always comes to my head. But like Cooper Kupp has 32 points right now. You know, going into week 1, you're going to be up 32-0 on whoever your opponent is. So
draft all the players that went off last night, and you'll be in the chase for the ring.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. You will immediately be placed in the top 25, chase for the ring, if you draft Josh Allen, Cooper Kupp, and Stephon Diggs.
Yeah. And Gabe Davis later, if you could get him.
Yeah, definitely. I unfortunately, I shouldn't say unfortunately, I have this one team, which I just have a treasure trove of wide receivers. Mm-hmm. I couldn't start Gabe Davis last night. I couldn't do it.
Oh, wow. You got a stacked team then.
Yeah, it was Tyreek, Kupp, and Diggs. I can't play Gabe Davis over any of those 3.
Man, I feel really bad about my team I just drafted. My starting wide receivers are Bateman, Davis, and Ayuk.
That's not bad.
Yeah, I went really young. I did it completely. So I did this draft.
You're talking to a Gabe Davis like worshiper right here. I mean, not Rashad Bateman. You're talking to a Bateman.
Oh yeah, so I had to get Rashad Bateman. I was like, and I have. So here's my lineup: Swift, Mixon, Trey Lance, Rashad Bateman, Gabe Davis, Dalton Schultz, Brandon Ayuk, and then a Prater as my kicker because apparently they're going to go off for the Kansas City game.
That's a solid team.
Yeah, so what I did, just a little strategy, and I want to see how it works. I only drafted 1 QB the entire draft. I just went Trey Lance in the 3rd, and that was it. The QBs that were left after everything, all the dust settled, all the trades, all the drops and everything, there was Baker Mayfield, Jared Goff, Matt Ryan. So I'm like, okay, let me pick up Jared Goff just to see how he does and how things shake up. And I was even able to trade for Kyler Murray. And then I traded him away instantly because I was like, I don't want to deal with that salary next year. So, and I have no idea. They have a bunch of injuries with Ertz, and now I think it's Rondale Moore doubtful for this Sunday. So
he was out. They ruled him out actually.
Yeah, he's already ruled out. Okay, yeah. See, so it's tough.
Kyler going to throw to?
Hollywood.
Marquise Brown. Yeah.
Marquise Brown, 15 targets Sunday. You can lock that up.
Yeah. Start Marquise Brown, man.
Right? This is Zach
Marquise Brown is he's like my start of the week this week. That guy is going to be peppered with targets.
Zach Ertz has been dealing with a calf injury. So
Trey McBride owners, pay attention because he can be walking into a nice target share week 1 too. So
got him.
We're already seeing your second or third round rookie draft pick be looking pretty good when you drafted Trey McBride.
Well, here's the other thing. You brought up a good point there, Victor. So if you have a dynasty owner draft this upcoming weekend, you draft Trey Lance.
I do.
So Eddie, maybe you want to take the strategy. If you draft Trey Lance in round 2 or 3,
I'm open ears. Talk to me.
Here you go. Jimmy Garoppolo's salary for dynasty owner is dropping from $27.5 million to $7 million. So you could lock up that entire 49er quarterback room for $15 million total between Jimmy G and Trey Lance. Have that on lock, and that could be your only quarterback all year until your bye week. Now, obviously, your bench scoring will take a hit there because you're not going to get 25% of nothing. So,
you know what we call that, Jeff, right? Savvy. Savvy owner.
Savvy gets you this.
Hey, you know
Savvy gets you the bling, baby.
You know what you're talking about. Come on.
Yeah.
We're not here dishing out nonsense. We're giving you the real deal.
Yeah. Hey guys, I'm gonna admit actually like a little bit of ignorance here for a second. I'm gonna field this one to you. For during the season, free agency, is it like it says Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday in the Constitution? Does that mean it goes through Saturday morning for Saturday, or does it go through Sunday morning for Saturday?
It's a good one.
So like you put in the bid for
like tonight, like it says Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah, if you put
so
if you put it tonight, it'll go tomorrow morning.
It goes in tomorrow morning, and then Saturdays will go through Sunday morning, right?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's every morning but Monday, right?
It's going to be a late night for me, guys, because I'm going to be doing waivers.
Yeah, there's nothing on Monday, and then it's like they skips Monday and Tuesday.
Thank you. By the way, Steve Van Tassel, I'd like to give you a little shout out here for telling the world that I dropped $62 in Dynasty dollars on one team, and I have 15 teams. You made my pockets feel like really empty.
He threw you right under the bus. He did.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money for
we can
one
look
team.
At. Yeah.
Come on, of course it is. But you know what? It's not for the league that you won the ring in.
No, it is.
Because
it was worth it. It was worth it.
I got stupid millions of dollars, Dynasty dollars in that league. Still to this day, 4 years later, like I can't bid enough on things. I got 4 amnesties. I've never used one. But meanwhile, I can't win since the first year. I don't get it.
Eddie, that actually is the team that won the ring, so it was well worth it. I would have paid triple that. I would have paid quadruple that.
Maybe I should just start trading people my Dynasty dollars for a player.
Guys,
could work.
I want to make this clear, and the three of us are the only 3 people walking the planet that can attest to this. The chase for the ring championship is so incredible. It is the absolute greatest prize you will ever win in Dynasty, fantasy sports, period. I don't care if it's football, baseball, basketball. It is the greatest prize. It's an experience. It's a lifetime achievement. You are forever immortalized. You are like whisked. Everything is catered to you. Like it is your moment.
Dude, from the welcome basket at the hotel.
Oh my
God. That was great.
With the laminated itinerary still hanging in my room. I mean,
you got the
Dynasty on a
the itinerary, like they take you around town. You got all the merch. You got the Dynasty owner, like the quarter zip. We're the only 3 people on earth to not only have the ring, but the quarter zip too.
Quarter zip,
guys. Like, this isn't. If you're
you
watching
guys
this
get
podcast,
the Yeti cup?
if you're watching this podcast right now, I need you to understand. This is not just a Super Bowl style diamond ring that you're wearing. You need to, if you will know if you win the chase for the ring, you will know exactly why our convictions are so strong that this is the greatest prize in fantasy sports. I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but guys, like it is the upper echelon elite prize you will ever win in any fantasy sport competition. So take it seriously, guys. The chase for the ring is nothing to sneeze at. It's like, I'll admit it. I will be the first to admit it. When I first signed up, I'm like, okay, cool. You win a Super Bowl diamond ring. It's got a $10,000, $12,000 estimated value. Like,
I had it approved.
Awesome.
Great.
Awesome. I severely underestimated the prize, and I was blown away, completely blown away. Like, my words don't do it justice. Our words can't do it justice, guys.
How about just a tour of the bust room at the Hall of Fame?
Oh God, the photo shoots and the dinners and the drinks and like, guys, this is the greatest prize you will ever win. Take it seriously. Right. If you start seeing yourself in that chase to the ring standings, week 7, 8, take it seriously because you want that prize. I'm telling you right now. Victor will tell you. Eddie will tell you. We could do a whole podcast on our experience.
Make sure you take Uncle Paul out for the surf and turf that night.
Yeah, man.
So guys,
it was amazing.
I want to tell you guys about a little trade I made last night. So
what do you got?
I'm feeling good because I got something tangible for a couple pieces that are not tangible. That's just how I'm looking at it to make myself feel better about it. So here we go. I traded away. I'm going to tell you what I traded away first. I traded away Marcus Mariota, Brevin Jordan, 2 2023 first-round picks, and a 2024 first-round pick.
Oh, wow.
And I received Joe Burrow. Now, I want to add a little context to it. My quarterbacks in this league were Derek Carr, Marcus Mariota, and Jacoby Brissett.
Oh, okay. So you had to go. Yeah.
I felt like I had to get that every week starter on a nice contract because the rest of my team in that league is insanely loaded. This is the team that I think could, I mean, unless you two have something to say about it, but I think this is the team that could take down ring number 2. I'm just saying.
Do you really think any of us are going to repeat ever?
Steve Van Tassel doesn't think it's possible. All right. I take that as a personal threat and a personal challenge. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
I don't take it that way. I just know how hard it's been to remotely come close. In year 2, it almost the same team from year 1. I went like from first to worst. I mean, it's crazy.
You got to have everything break your way. It's just
it's a little, it's a little skill, but it's a lot of luck. I mean, let's face it.
It's tough too because everyone, like literally from my championship season, that team, I don't have a single person from that squad anymore.
Yeah.
Like everyone's gone. So,
I mean, the selfish me wanted to be the only ring champion forever. But the one thing I still could hang my hat on, thank God, is I'm still the only undefeated ring champion.
Yeah, that's true. Well, that's hard. That's going to be
I got
almost
16-0 inscribed on the ring. I don't know about you.
No. I think mine
trust me, I mean that in a lovingly way.
Well, I have the most points.
12-3. Yeah, I have the most points per game.
So you know what, guys? Every season at the end of the year, I'm like waiting to pop the bubbly as soon as somebody in that ring chase gets his first loss.
Yeah.
Hey, it's something to hang your hat on,
Somebody will do it.
Oh yeah.
And I'll be the first to congratulate them. Take them out for a drink.
If anybody's seen the movie Rounders, one of my favorite movies,
sure.
Matt Damon has a great line in that movie. When his girlfriend Jo told him that basically poker is it's all about luck, and Matt Damon said, "Really? Is that why you see the same 8 people at the final table, the main event, every single year?" Well, right now, if you look at the Dynasty owner Chase for the Ring standings, you see a lot of familiar teams. And I guarantee you come week 8, week 10, week 12, you're going to see Eddie, Victor, myself, Dynasty Trade School, other teams that take it seriously, play the waiver wire, account for bye weeks, account for injuries. The teams that stay focused, the teams that are able to navigate not just that current week, but looking ahead and seeing, okay, this running back, he's down right now, but he's got 3 really good games coming up. Let's go trade for him.
Yeah.
Like foresight teams, you're going to see the same teams in that chase for the ring. I'm telling you, that dedication, the first few weeks, I think it'll fluctuate. But as we get to like the grind, like in baseball, they call it the dog days of summer. When we get to those dog days of the season in the winter, late fall, early winter, I think you're going to see a lot of familiar names in those chase for the ring standings. So
let's face it, guys, draft season is over. It's a wrap.
And something you alluded to, Eddie, last week, I think you brought up something really good, Eddie, last week. You said you can't rest on your laurels.
It doesn't
even if you had a great draft, you have to play every week one at a time. You can't say like, oh, my team's great on September 1st and just automatically think your team's going to be great on December 1st. It doesn't work that way.
It doesn't
Yeah.
stop there. It doesn't stop after the draft. It might look good on paper, but you got to work that wire every week. You got to search during the week for trade partners. You got
Yeah.
to take advantage. You're not going to win just from the draft alone. It might set you in a good starting point, but if you're going to get lazy during the year and not be there on wire morning, looking for the hot player to replace the guy that's doing nothing on your bench, then you're doing yourself a grave disservice.
Yep.
Be active. That's what Dynasty is all about. It's people who are taking this game seriously and are willing to be active, not even just during the football season, but technically all year round.
Yep.
Dynasty doesn't have an off season as far as I'm concerned. I'm constantly looking to tweak my team. That's the way it is. And to me, it's fun. It's a challenge. Salary cap on top of Dynasty.
Yeah, guys,
Come on, this is the most challenging platform ever. I don't know.
The format is just so unique. It's actually, they have a patent on the format for the actual NFL salaries. It's
Good.
The only platform, Dynasty owner, that is allowed to do that. And I am honored, I'm sure you guys are too, to be not just representing Dynasty owner as the Chase for the Ring champions, but like just being in the format and playing it and being exposed to how awesome it is and the people in the community and the people who run it. It's a great platform. If you're watching this and you don't have a team, go to the for sale by owner, purchase a team, guys, get involved right now. There's no stopping you. You could either get in a draft right before Sunday, or you could go purchase a team that's for sale. Like there's nothing stopping you from getting involved, even though week 1 is already kicked off. Segue man, Eddie Driscoll, why don't you because we're going to take one game each from this weekend, Sunday or Monday. And I want you to tell me, and I want you to tell all the listeners out there, I want you to tell them what you're looking for in that one particular game. Any guys that stand out fantasy-wise, real life situations or storylines that you're following. So Eddie, I know you have your game in mind. Why don't you kick us off here?
Well, I hung the jersey behind me this week. That jersey is going to be different every week, and it's pretty much going to represent the game that I'm looking forward to watching the most, and the game that I'm highest and most confident in. And for me, it's Bengals Steelers. Bengals are in a little less than a touchdown favorite over the Steelers. You're talking about a team that maybe came a bad call or just a bad break at the end of the game from winning a Super Bowl. A team that last year looked amazing and with a poor offensive line. And now they've revamped that offensive line. We got protection for Burrow, and you want to give this kid time to throw the ball with protection, with a receiver like Jamar Chase on the outside and T. Higgins on the other side, who, pretty much matched him. This is insane. I mean, I always give credit to the Steelers. They're a storied franchise. They've been doing it forever. They always seem to be there. They got this weird thing about keeping the same coach, like a king of England, until I don't understand that situation. But hey, it's worked for them. They're very savvy as far as getting young wide receivers out of the draft. I think they got another one in Pickens, and they have a future, but the future is not this year. I think the Bengals are going to win by way more than the spread. They're going to win by a few touchdowns. They're going to set week 1 statement to the league that last year was no fluke, okay? I see Bengals-Bills AFC Championship game pretty easy in my mind. Usually it's like every year someone else changes. I mean, look at the Rams game. They won a Super Bowl and they look like crap last night. But that's 1 week. I'm not going to put it all on that. But these Bengals, they're hungry. They look like a dynasty to me. Our modern day dynasty that 49ers and Cowboys and whatnot that our grandpappies had back in the day. I'd love to see it. I mean, it's fun to watch. This guy Burrow is amazing. He's confident. I think this is going to be very easy. Najee Harris is a great running back. They didn't do much to upgrade this offensive line. I mean, how many carries can you possibly give this guy? I understand he's a second-year player, and he's got youth on his side, but we thought that the running back shelf life has shrunk to like 5 years these days. The way they're giving him the ball, he's lucky to have 3. I mean, it's too much to just count on that one guy. And let's not put aside that, all right, got Trubisky to start. Maybe he lasts till week 3, in my opinion. But Big Ben was kind of better than either one of these options. But, they need solid offensive line upgrades. They need a quarterback to get in rhythm. This is going to take a while. This isn't going to be the year for them. The Bengals are going to coast like Bills light. I'm looking forward to watching this game because I think it's going to be fun because, the first jersey I ever bought in my life was Chris Collinsworth when I was a teenager playing in the schoolyard in Brooklyn. And I've been a closet Bengals fan in the background my whole life. Don't tell Tim with his Browns. But,
or so.
That's my game of the week, guys. Tune in. It's going to be fun to watch. Lots of fantasy points available for you.
And Eddie, you know what? Your comment on, possible current modern day dynasty with Joe Burrow, that's why I went out and I traded for Joe Burrow in my dynasty. Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah.
Victor, let's hear what you got.
So I'm picking probably the worst game in the whole slate, and that's just because these are NFL franchises. They are spending money. In some cases, they're spending money to keep players, and in other cases, they are spending no money. So we got San Francisco versus the Chicago Bears. Now, take the weather. Hopefully, it's not. It's always like a 43% chance of rain. So weather permitting, the reason I'm looking at this game is to basically ask questions. Is Trey Lance good? Is Justin Fields good? Is Elijah Mitchell going to be the number 1 back? Does David Montgomery look like a workhorse back? Is Deebo Samuel worth the money? Is Darnell Mooney going to be the number 1 in Chicago? Who's going to be the number 2 in Chicago? Who's going to be the number 2 in San Francisco? Who's going to be the tight end for either team? It's just that's the game that I'm trying to focus on the most, just in terms of what is going to happen in this game. Who am I going to try to pick up from this game? Because, if Ayuk doesn't do it, is Jawan Jennings going to step up? Right now for Chicago, we have Equanimous St. Brown and Byron Pringle as the number 2 and 3. So, hey, are these going to be players that I'm going to try to pick up on the waiver wire and start in my bench? Or are these just going to be a crapshoot for all year? Like how Eddie said, where they just suck. But, yeah, I don't got too much to say other than, it's going to be a pretty low-scoring game. If the rain is pretty heavy, it's already going to be like 71 degrees with 9-mile-per-hour winds. So, you got to look at every game because I'm pretty sure there's plenty of players out here that have a lot of these, like a lot of dynasty owners who have a lot of these players on their team. I know whoever got Trey Lance this year in the draft probably drafted him at number like the 3rd or 4th round, and
they're all cheap.
He wasn't cheap at all.
Well, no, besides Kittle, I'm just saying their salaries. Lance, Elijah Mitchell, Debo, Ayuk, Kmet, Montgomery, they're all cheap salary.
Yeah, all of these. So. Yeah, other than Kittle, the only player that I'd stay away from and I wouldn't have drafted is Kittle, of course, because getting older, Riddle. 15 mil. Yeah, George Riddle. Yeah, George Riddle. That's a good one. But
Elijah Mitchell might have a good day. Elijah Mitchell.
Because again, like how we've all stressed this before, this is a game about salary. So, yeah, you got Josh Allen who scored, what was it, Jeff? How many points did he score?
He had 38 and change.
38 Yeah, he had 38 points, but he was also 45 million. He better score me 38 points. Now, if I have Trey Lance, who's at what is he at?
8 and
8
change.
million, and he scores me 20 points, I'm gonna feel pretty good because he was just 9 million compared to 45 million on my roster.
Yeah.
So, it's a give and take with the salary. Like when you hit on those players that are cheap, you feel really good because that's just pure that it just when you're hitting on those late round targets that are cheap and they score you a lot, that is pure value. It's the ultimate value.
Yeah.
But of course, yeah, when you got somebody like Josh Allen that scores you 40 points a week,
it should happen.
You know what you're getting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you bring up a good point there because then not only if you even go forward, it also increases your potential to make trades because now you have this guy that might be 1 or 2 million emerging, and maybe you can part with a 10, $15 million player and get player plus and not lose a lick in on your team as far as your total point production.
Yeah, that's a good
You
point.
bring up a good point there with all your questions. Week 1 is the time if you're playing Dynasty Owner. My strategy is don't have questions in your lineup or your bench. You want to start guys in your starting lineup, like Victor just alluded to, all these questions about who's going to emerge from the Bears and the 49ers. Well, if you have questions about these players, it's really not good to play them week 1. I like to take kind of a wait and see approach. Like Jalen Waddle, for example, is a guy that I can relate this to. He caught 104 passes last year, set the rookie record, but now Tyreek Hill's there. I want to see how much they involve Jalen Waddle again. I'm putting him on my bench for week 1. I'm still going to get 25% of whatever he scores, but I don't want his 4 catches for 36 yards to kill me if that's what happens. But then if he has 10 for 150 and 2 touchdowns, I'm still getting 25% of that. So I'm going to take a wait and see approach with a lot of guys from games that I have questions about. But I'm going to transition to a game that I have no questions about, and I'm going to transition to a game that there's no weather concerns whatsoever, and that is the Las Vegas Raiders going to LA to play the Chargers. One of the highest game totals of the week at 52 right now. And this is a game that I want full exposure to on both sides. And I got a play of the week. Coming in this game right now, but I'm going to get to that. So you got solidified starter Justin Herbert. You got his solidified weapons, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Austin Eckler. I'm interested to see, as far as questions go, I do have one, and that is Gerald Everett with Donald Parham, who got ruled out today. Is Gerald Everett going to command a 5, 6, 7 target per game pace this year? Or is he going to be more of like a complimentary 3 or 4 target guy? Because at $6 million in that offense, he could be a difference maker for your Dynasty Owner team this year if he emerges as one of those main cogs in the offense. And then as far as the Raiders side of the ball goes, you have a swinging gate offensive line. So I'm looking to see how Josh McDaniels navigates that. Because in New England, we all know New England has had top flight offensive lines for the last basically 10, 15, 20 years. So I'm really interested to see how McDaniels navigates having a very below average offensive line. I want to see who emerges from that backfield, if anybody, as far as Josh Jacobs, Zamir White, Amir Abdullah. Who's going to be the passing down back for the Raiders? Is it Abdullah or is it Brandon Bolden? And then you have Devontae Adams. Matchup-wise, J.C. Jackson, the stud corner that the Chargers signed in free agency, is ruled out for this game. So Devontae Adams could eat in this game. $28 million on your Dynasty Owner team. You better start him. You know what I mean? So, but now I'm going to get to my play of the week, which is, and I'm going to break it down for you guys, X's and O's style. You have a really good defensive line for the Chargers, Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa. You have good pass rush for the Chargers and a swinging gate offensive line for the Chargers. What does that equal? Quick strikes to Hunter Renfrow. And that is my play of the week this week for Dynasty Owner. If you have Hunter Renfrow on your team, and I'm completely contradicting myself because I have him on one team and he's on my bench right now. But only because my team's loaded in that league. All right. So, but if you have Hunter Renfrow,
way to put your money where your mouth is.
I might change it. But I really think Hunter Renfrow is in line for like an eight or 9 catch game. 70, 80 yards. He's going to
gold. PPR gold.
Yeah,
if
absolutely.
If Waller's ruled out, I mean, he's going to hit.
Even if Waller's ruled in, I think he's going to hit because you have, that pass rush combined with that weak offensive line. Carr's going to have to get the ball out quickly. I think Amir Abdullah could be a really sneaky bench player this week if you're left with very minimal options. If they're trying to get the ball out quick, it's going to be Abdullah. It's going to be Renfrow. You're going to have Derwin James locked in on Darren Waller. You're going to have whoever the top corner is for the Chargers minus J.C. Jackson locked in on Devontae. Devontae's going to eat. Like, you're starting him. I have no doubt Devontae Adams is going to eat. But I think Renfrow, for his salary, $700K, I think he's going to get you 15, 20, pay off that like monumental payoff for that $700K that you're paying for.
Yeah.
Anything else you guys want to add before we sign off for the night?
I have one thing to say. So make sure you pay attention to who's playing in the early games and who's playing in the afternoon games. So if you got players, look at your flex and see if they're in the early games. Start them on your RBs and wide receivers. Don't be the guy who, oh man, I got my 1 p.m. in the flex and I got nobody to start at wide receiver or running back because they got hurt or something.
Yeah, and to that point, like let's say, for example, a team had Zach Ertz, who plays at 425, and their other tight end is Hayden Hurst, who plays at 1 o'clock. Zach Ertz is highly questionable right now. You might want to force yourself to play Hayden Hurst because if you hold off on that, you might not have a tight end in your starting lineup.
Yeah. Can't pick him up either.
I don't consider that forcing myself. I love Hayden Hurst.
Well, yeah, I mean, some of us love that Bengals dynasty, man.
Yeah.
Eddie, anything you want to add, buddy?
No, man, I'm just excited. I'm gonna wake up Sunday morning. It's gonna be like Christmas. I can't wait to get this here, man.
If anyone from Dynasty owners on the East Coast, I will be in Atlantic City. I will be at the Borgata Sportsbook with a couple of my friends watching every single game. I plan on getting there at 10 in the morning. I don't plan on leaving my seat until 1 a.m. the next day.
So you would have told me that a week ago. I would have joined you. What are you doing over there with these late minute invites?
Hey, next time I got you, Eddie. All right.
No,
next time I got you.
Ocean is a great place out there for a sports book.
That's where I'm staying. I'm staying at Ocean, but I'm watching the games at Borgata.
Maybe I'll come out and surprise you.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm lame.
I
typically only watch a few games, and I watch a lot of highlights.
I don't know about you guys, but there's nothing like an experience of watching every single game simultaneously across a huge sports book screen with that atmosphere. It's
Eddie, this podcast is going to start turning into like Champions After Dark in a second if you keep talking like that, because I totally agree with you. Since 2001, my core group of friends and I have been going to sports bars all over our area, only sports bars that have the Sunday ticket, and I can watch every single game. If it's the first time that you're ever doing that, it is overwhelming. I will be honest with you. But after about 3 or 4 weeks, you know how to rotate that head every which way to catch every single game that you want. And it's just like, as soon as one play ends, you're going to the next TV. As soon as that play ends, you're going back or going to the next TV. It's great. It's great.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
Come on.
And that's what I plan on doing this weekend. So, guys, it's been another great Friday night. Love talking shop with you guys. Dynasty owner, real life fantasy football. Love it. Love it. So,
same here, man.
For Victor, for Eddie, for myself, one more bling before we go, guys. Everybody, good luck this weekend. Week 1. Get those lineups set. Have a great time. We will see you next week.